Thank you. There are 3 parties in conference, including your...
On the other hand, we will have more time to see on the more complicated things, stuff. So what I wanted to go through today in my agenda is the benefits of the ISX designer, the DX cooling, equals, the racks which we have, Symmetra PXs, netbots, management, and the services. And then after make a second solution with the Galaxy, where we look at the custom batteries, the transformers, where we generate report additional parts and see the statuses of the solutions for approval. So the benefit of the tool is, of course, that this is a very fast quoting tool, so it's very fast. Doesn't take much time for you to get sometimes even quite a complicated solution. Today we have 25% in EMEA which is auto-approved, so by 25% you are sure that it's correct and you get everything directly. There is no special software needed anymore, so it's browser-based. And the tool can also be used outside of the Schneider network, so if you're at home you don't need to use VPN. And of course also our partners can do that. We have many reports, proposals, links to drawing, 3D view, CTO reports, which is mostly used for the FSCs, detailed quota reports, also use shipping information reports, mostly for the order management and the weight infos. Then, as you might know, we can also have third-party batteries, third-party products linked into, like batteries, transformers, special hot eye containment, special doors, bypasses, whatever. Specific with this tool is also that partners can have direct access and they will see their partner price. In EMEA we have mostly, so for internal sales we have one price or sometimes 2 prices with a list, but the partner sees also his partner price as well. Then you have one order, so the ISX number is enough for the order. Then you also get double checked. As said, 25% gets checked by the system, and the rest 75% is then taken care of the configuration team, which will look into it if it's possible or not. It can be uploaded in InTouch, where you, of course, as experienced users, know how to get the right price than what you need, and you have a booking and delivery priority. Except, yeah, not like when you order it directly. So, if we go live now, so I know everybody knows how to log in, I expect. In here, you can have preferences that you start with your page. So my preference here is Denmark. You can also say that send email notification about my orders, do not show terms and conditions. This is stuff you can see and change. So this is quite handy. What else can you see in here is also feedback on support. You can give feedback to the design portal team. What's new? That's not very updated. Help is quite extended, so this is quite good. Then in the rider here, you have data center reference design selector. I will not talk longer about, but please have a look at all this stuff which we have here. Then a small IT solution selector is almost the same as small IT solution designer we have down here, but it is a more offline tool or more web-based tool. Then we have trade-off tools, EcoStream CFD software. It's quite a powerful tool as well to see how the airflow is going and the capacity. Just for a short remark, please have a good connection. If you download that, it's about 160 megabytes. And then we have the access floor tool from Uniflare, which is also part of it. It's an Excel file-based calculation, so you can get solutions there. Then in here we have the view solution, new solution, and the desktop designer. The desktop designer is the ISX Designer 9, which is down here open. What's new here is always updates about what is going on. It is not really updated a lot. Like tomorrow we will have a new release. Stuff like this is not, and this is the same, the help. Looking at the solution here, or at the different options and configurators. So the ISX Designer is here. That's the one which we will talk about. The ISX Designer has all the coolings for the in-row coolings, has the racks, has the P-axis, has the galaxies, except Galaxy 300, has netbots included, software management, and the services. Small IT solution designer is mostly single phase up to 5 racks, where we use it, rack accessories. EcoBreeze, as it says, is EcoBreeze Pure, and here it's just material, so there is no management or installation and adjustment. The Galaxy configurator in EMEA is just the Galaxy 300, so, and it's more a selector than a configurator. And this down here is the Guter configurator, which we have. Then we also have standard solutions. In the standard, I just want to open it. In the standard solutions, sales can decide which solution will be opened very often or used very often. And then in each country we have a catalog. Some are the designs from the design selector. But you see it is quite heavy. Now it comes. And we have different, so you can take this and then just say copy. And then the solution will just be updated in price and you will get it right away. You can submit. But you can of course also change it. So each country has this. It is, if you have a solution which you think will get kind of a reference, please use that and contact us. We can make this happen, that you will get this solution as well as in the standard. Good. Something in the design portal to say is as well, if you change the country, first change the country and then the name, otherwise you need to change the name again. This is something which is, I don't know why, saving problems, so I will call it training 24th, no, it's 23rd, sorry, 23rd for 2015. Then, if training solution or not, that's something you can change later. It is mainly the moment where you submit. A training solution will not be doing anything when you submit. It's just going into status submit. Nobody will check it. Will not be audible. So, otherwise, if it's open, if it's training or not training, you can use whatever you want. So, if we go to the ISX Designer, in here, I mean, you're an experienced user, just proceed. Otherwise, again, download here the whole product. It is, of course, quite heavy again, so please have a good connection. Page not found. Happens sometimes that it's not possible. So what could you do in this case? Either log in like me, or you go in the open ISX Designer and start a new solution like here. So I'll try it now, if it works, by logging in again. If you ever have problems logging in, here in below this question, behind this question mark, there's a whole explanation where you can reset what you can do to get your login. So let's cross fingers that it works now. Yeah. So new solution here. Denmark, 23rd for 2015. Training. Good. Configure. So as said, you can either start this way or you can start directly in the ISX Designer 9 by selecting here on the file new solution. It's the same. So right now it's loading the product catalog and all the data. In this moment you need to be online, but before you wouldn't need to be online. So what we have here is quite a new feature of drawing. Before, as you remember, we had these different room shapes. Today we have two, with either rectangular, where we can put the meter like 1010, or we can draw it ourselves. And you will see later on when we draw it, it's quite a good tool. So physical properties, it is something which we need to know what you have. Hot aisle width as generally, if you make an equal, we can change the equal again, but in general it's 3 feet here. You can change this status, of course. Raised floor, very important for to know if we have a raised floor or not. Otherwise we don't know if we can do piping or not. So let's make the ceiling. That's not as important. It is important if it gets too small. As you know, the normal racks are just 2 meters with about 23 centimeters of the troughs. It will of course get extra space. You will get space problems if you have like a 2.5 meter high room. Then power properties. This is something here, the power redundancy and the runtime limit. It's a pre-selection. You can always change it. Power distribution on the floor or overhead. Please be aware that especially on the Symmetra P axis, it is just a half rack PDPM 277H, which can have an on the floor distribution. All the others, PX160, PX40X, PX96, 5U are the PDPM, they go overhead. So if you need 160 with on the floor distribution, we need a cabinet next to it to route it over the top, down on the side to the floor. So this is extra. Then here we can select number of data troughs. We can select where do we want it, always just in the new racks or in the non-racks. The same here for the power troughs, all new or none. Then we go to the cooling. In the cooling, we have different data we need to enter. So first of all, I would like to show you a DX solution today. So with DX, we of course have no water, so there just leave it. If you have water, please tell us here. This 7.2 is very, very low, which we almost never see, except of course when we see that nobody DR changed it. So it's much more common to have higher temperature, 10, 12, 14, 15 degrees or whatever. The same with the delta T. This is also 5.6 is something in Fahrenheit. So very common is 6, 7 degrees. Elevation, it's something which we need to know to calculate the cooling. But I mean, if it's 10 meter, 50 meter, or 80 meter, we don't care. But as soon as you go 500 meter, 1000 meter, 2000, then yeah, please write it in. The same with the glycol. Please give us the hint. What is glycol? Otherwise, we calculate the performance at 0. Raised floor leakage. That's something which is an old, how you say, leftover. So this is a leftover from the Stulz time. So this is not in use. So you can change whatever you want. It has no influence. Cooler supply, on the other hand, is of course something which we would like to know. What kind of temperature do you want to have coming into your racks? The same with the parameter. Cooling redundancy here as well. As you see, we can just choose N, N plus 1, N plus 2. 2N is not possible. But if you have 2N, please mention it to my team. Then distribution method, on the floor or overhead. If you have a raised floor, you can of course go on the floor. If this is grayed out, it's because the raised floor is not selected. Good. So now the drawing. So we selected that we had a free drawing. So right now you just take it like this with the mouse. Then you can see the measurement there, and you can select your room like this. Then it goes like this over here, and you can make a very nice room. As soon as you connect the two ends, it gets in the room inside. Good. So first thing which we have often questions in my team is, what do I do if I lose connection? So always here is a backup. You can make a backup. If you make a backup, you put it somewhere. Well, I can put it on temp. For recovery, so I just put a rec in so you can see the difference. For recovery, you need to do the same solution, new solution, or the same solution. It needs to be the same country. So then you can make a backup again, or recovery. So like now I have Denmark already open. You can open a solution. No, that's wrong. You can restore the backup. Come on. Restore the backup, and you will see here's the solution without the rec. So this is very handy. If you lose, you cannot save it. Go to portal is not working. Make a backup. Then you can save it. The only thing you need to remember is which country did I do it. That's it. Just open the solution in the country when you have good connection. Restore it. Everything is there. Good. Then of course the save button. As when we changed over to this offline tool, we always need to save before we go to back to portal. Back to portal alone is not saving. Then open solution. Here you see all the solutions. Then undo and redo. Delete. Here toggle cable calculation. This is very helpful if you have a huge solution, hundreds of racks, and you have cabling already included. So if you have a PX500 with a lot of racks and all the cabling there, then with pushing this button, it will not always calculate the cooling and the cabling in the background at the same time. So you push this, then it will not calculate the cabling. You push it again, then it will calculate the cables once. So this makes the movement of the racks much better. But to say right now, the ISX Designer 9 is quite a powerful tool. So if you have 100 rack, you have no problem yet. It comes over 220, I would say, around there. Then it gets a bit annoying. Then moving racks around takes a while. So this is a very good thing. But it's not like in the old days where we had 100 racks and then each rack we moved, we had to wait for 20, 30 seconds. So this is much better now. So the performance is much better. Then we have, of course, the room redundancy check here. On this side, we have the physical infrastructure. So first we have the configuration with all the configurations where we do just afterwards. Then we have the physical. So if you have generic blocks, you can put here like a window somewhere. You can also put a door. You can put a block somewhere. Where was the door? The door was here, so we put a door here. So I can do all that. And of course, I have third-party equipment. So if I have a Caterpillar generator or something, I can put it somewhere outside here. This stuff is, of course, not included in the bill of material. So this will not be included. Okay, good. Then something very new is the clipboard. This is something I will show you. So today we can copy-paste, which is a very nice thing. We can copy-paste everything or just single products. Then here, add corners. So even though we made these special drawings, we can make here extra drawings and add like this around some new stuff. With this hand, we can change the tiles so the tiles fit in the corner, right? Here we can move the rows around. Here we should pan background. I never succeeded, so I won't even push the button. Then here we can zoom or unzoom. If you zoom, you can see down here on the right bottom corner, you can move it around here. You see where you are. Then we have, of course, Rack Editor and 3D view. I will show you afterwards when we have some products. So first product, rack. We can decide a rack. First is always the quantity, or of course the type of rack. The type of rack we support is our 8s. There are ISX racks, 42U 600, 750, 48U 600, 750, and the same in deep as well, 1200 millimeter deep. So if we choose a deep rack, we can do 2 deep rack. If we change here the load, you see here the amount and the rack mount PDU will change, and the sensor recommendation will change. So if I go like on 7 here, you will see it's now a 32 single phase, and it's recommended to have 3 temperature sensors. If I change to dual, I will get 2 UPS. So if you have M+1, which 90% has, then you have to can go to advanced and put here the same rack mount PDU again if you want, or you change it totally. EP8853 and add it. Now you can see I have a 1200 millimeter rack. So in the 1200 millimeter racks, I have space for 8. So then the 9th is gone. Then I need a 2U, which I can add. So removal is the same again. I just remove all. If I remove all, I get always, hey, this is not possible. Your density doesn't fit the thing. If it's correct and you have already something in, you can always enable here, and then the arrow will go and you can continue. So if I add 2, if I add 2, they always add it on left and right, on left rear. So if I add more, you see now they start on right. I can of course remove the left rear. So now I have one left and one right. So that's some tricks you can do. Yeah. Good. So in the temperature sensors, the same. I can add and remove. So I can remove one. I can add extra one. I can add, yeah. The problem here is just when you add sensors which are not really working with everything. So like this third-party racks is not really the ideal one because we have a standard rack here. You suddenly get select sensor is not compatible with NetBots 200. So here my team will have to check with you. So good. So I make 2. So if I make 2, I can have here. So now you see here this aisle or this space here for the rack is 1070. If I come with a 1200 millimeter rack, you see it's bigger and it makes it bigger right away. So I told you that it's possible to copy it. So if I select both racks right, I can either configure both racks. So I can add sensor again, or remove a sensor, or rack mount PDU, or the load, or whatever. Or very new, I can make a copy. As soon as it's a copy, it shows in here what it is, and I can take this one and put it here. If I make a copy again, it is just showing as a second one. You see, that's how it works. So then I can copy like this. So this is very handy now. I can do a whole hot die containment system. So I can copy everything. So this is very handy for configuration. If you have a rack which is not supported here, if you have a rack which you want, I mean network management rack, SV racks, whatever. So always select the closest which are. So if you have a network management rack, select the, if it's 42U, select the SX42U 750, because it's 750. Do the closest that we can just exchange the racks. If it's an SV racks, do the one which is closest, and please tell my team what you do. Yeah, something extra which I totally forgot to mention is if you have here, down here, rack air containment system, rack air removal unit. So the rack air containment system, if you look at it, don't use it. It doesn't work. They try to make it better, but it doesn't work. If you want to have a rack air containment system, just tell my team. Just tell it when you send it. That's it. It's much better because we have to delete it anyway and make it new. If you have a rack air removal unit, that's the back door. Of course, you can add it here. Good. Let's go to the power. In the power, you see here we have different options. We have a power zone. In the power zone is the simulator PXs. Then we have the Galaxy for the 35557 and the VM. Emergency power off. Then we have the PX 250-500. And then we have a static transfer switch. The FS selector is not available for everybody. I think it's just my team, by the way. So, but today I want to show you the PX. So on the PX side, you can always take the ones which are on the left side, which is not connected, move it over to the right. It will tell you if you have not enough. It will tell you what you can do or not do. If you have a distribution, you can do a 300 millimeter only. With the distribution, you can of course not do batteries. So if you have 160, PX 160, here's the batteries. Today we have two different batteries types. We have classical and modular. So the one which you know, the modular, and the classical, which is with these cabinets. As soon as you have the modular, the classical, then you have not the distribution inside, because the XR PDU has of course drawers in the back for the batteries. So if we do that today, then I make a 300 millimeter remote power panel. I can of course add extra cable. Let's just do a 10 meter cable or 12. So call it anyway for the printer or whatever mount to add. So I can also change that I have RCD breaker models. So there are countries which have RCD breakers: Spain, Spain, France, Italy, Austria, and sometimes Norway, because break neutral. There it is pre-selected. All in the other countries is deselected. So, but if you want, you can of course push here. Just be aware, RCD use double the amount of money. Costs more as well, but uses also double amount of space. Good. So here I have my 300 millimeter, and as you know, it's calculating direct. And then I go to the UPS. I have my 72 kilowatt half rack. Can put the 160. I can do classical battery now. And as soon as I select classical battery, I can select in between the different bypasses. I could also, with the modular batteries, select the different bypasses and deselect the distribution. So I just go back. I want to see a classical today. So I can also have additional empty batteries cabinets. I can have different the bypasses, so the wall mounted and the value wall mounted. We often get the question, what's the difference? The difference is that the wall mounted has breakers inside, the value wall mounted has switch inside. So very often we use the normal wall mounted. And then 72 kilo, this is a bit silly. We need to add here again. And be aware here, 72 kilo is 72,000 on the Simulator PX 500. 72,000 is, there is it kilowatt, so there is a difference here in watt, there in kilowatt. So wall mounted, additional load we had, and we get our wall-mounted bypass. Come on, here. And I can put our UPSs somewhere on the corner. So this is the PX160, which I can configure. Going to the PX500, here I can actually connect it directly, so on my half rack. PDU I can connect directly. Down here I have the possibility of saying here I need dual feed. Then I would need also the racks, everything in dual, so that gives you an error right now. Then internal extra, of course. We often have the questions, how do I do if I don't want a distribution, I want an external bypass? So if you have a normal solution, no parallel, then it is not possible to configure, just mention it to us. Then we have to go in and remove stuff. So if you have redundant extra, then you will get without distribution. So otherwise it's off. Then you can select extra. Here again, battery. We can select it third party to connect it together or remote. As soon as you have third party, we can of course configure for you the batteries. And be aware, we need to add string isolator if we go over more than one string. It's just because we had problems, different places on site, batteries burning and not the UPS also got damaged. So that's why we need to add string isolators for safety. So, but let's do just normal. Put one breaker. Here, advanced again. I can, of course, select where do I come in, add an additional power model frame. Say it's 3 or 4 poles. Main input is dual. I can add a breaker if I want to. And name it. The last one was printer, so this is coffee. So, good. So as soon as I put it here. So now we also get quite often the questions, can we build it into an ecoil? So answer is yes, it's possible. It needs to be certain things. First of all, this distribution panel opens on the side here. So the door would look like, so I just remove it a bit. So the door would look like this. So we would put a door like here, and the door would close like against the wall. So it would look as a wall door. Then other things which we need to do is, of course, we need to the UPS exhausts on the top, on the back, top. So these holes need to be closed. So this is another quote which we need to do. But if you configure that as an ecoil, you will get problems. You see, will not work. So this needs to be on the side somewhere. So, okay, showing this. That's about the P-axis which we had. So going over to the cooling, how to configure cooling. It's mostly easiest if we do configure it together with the ecoil. So if I select all the racks, I can go to the ecoil. In the ecoil, we have different options of width, 3, 4, 5, and 6 feet. And please let me mention it again. It's feet, it's not millimeters. 1200, 15, or 1800 is 3, 4, 5, or 6 feet. I don't know why. It's something R&D made. If you have a 4 feet solution or 1200 millimeter request, select the 4 feet, which is a bit longer. The door are adjustable. The roof can be cut, but please remember, it's extra work. So this needs to be cut on site, so it's extra work. Otherwise, you have this 2 centimeter extra. Then what I can do is, of course, sealing or ducted. ceiling, I have two options as well. I have it rec direct or elevated. Ducted is a chimney, mostly used for the uniflares or cold aisle containment. If I have ceiling, as said, I have the options of rec direct or elevated. What to choose? What to choose? I would always choose rec direct if you have the standard recs. So ISX recs 42, 48. In the US we have also 45. Use rec direct. It's much easier with the height adapter to mount it. Elevated with third-party equipment, SV racks inside between. You can use elevated. It's much more work on site. You will also see it on the service if you configure it. It's much more work. Then the panel material, the ripped is pre-selected. That is the one which is easy to cut. You cannot see. I mean, it's getting light, but you cannot see through. The solid is a plastic glass, but it's a glass you can see through. Then we have the dropout required. So dropout is a possibility you can have if you have a fire extinguish system which needs to gas the room or have as like a shower from top. So the dropout, if you reach a certain degrees of temperature, it will fall. It will give you a warning by siren and light, and then you have about 10 seconds. No, not about. You have exactly 10 seconds to leave the room or the hot aisle containment. Otherwise, it will fall on your top. And especially with the solid is quite it's heavy. So then the different doors. So if we have a 3 feet, we have 4 options. We have the hinge door, which is for the ones which are longer in the company, the old doors which I had in the Equal, the one which is very thick and looks like a tank door. Then we can select non-doors, curtains or sliding doors. If we go higher up, 4, 5 and 6 feet, we just have the option sliding, curtains or nothing. We can choose left and right, or whatever we want. In the lock type, we have standard locks or nothing. R&D is working on a Swift card. Should have been released last year, so I don't know when it's coming, but should come this day. So, and then the light. If you have a light, always there are 3 different options with the light. So you can have 0 millimeter interval. That means you have light all over. 300 millimeter. So the LED light length is 300 millimeters. So that means you have light, no light, light, and 600, 2 times no light and light, of course, which is apparently the most common. So that's quite common, 600 millimeter interval. So for the cooling units, you can select down here. We have the 3 options: direct expansion, which I will want to show, chill water, and the pump refrigerant. To the pump refrigerant is to say it's quite a tricky system. So as soon as we see pump refrigerant, we will contact you to get more information. Especially water temperature or humidification in the room is quite tricky there. So if you select inward direct expansion cooling products, you have a recommendation here. This number is something which is, yeah, as I say, recommendation. It is not really true, so it's not perfectly calculated, especially in a room where I have made, or with different UPS all over. It will not work. So that's why we will take care of that and calculate it extra. So in the RP or in the DX, you have the 5 different options. You have the RP and the RD 600 millimeter. They're exactly the same solution or the same unit. It's just the one has a reheat and humidification in it, the RP. Then we have the RD 600, our big unit. Then we have RD 300, air cooled, the small one, and glycol cool and water cooled. So these are the smaller ones which we have. For each RD, when you select it, be aware that you also have a minimum load. So like the RD 600, the big one, has a minimum load of 10 kilowatt. Otherwise, the compressor would start and stop all the time, and this would give you a problem. Today, since last year, we have a firmware that they can be in hot standby. So they can actually, in communication, say, here, we know we don't have enough load, let's 1 or 2 run, and then the other is waiting until the load is getting there and jumps in. So this is, of course, possible. Now, so then on the temperature, 35, 40, or 46, if you have another temperature which is higher, I mean lower is no problem, but higher, then we can, together with the vendor, which is Thermokey, find out what is the performance, if the condenser is still enough, or give a special condenser. The same is if we have our condensers are always roof mount, so standing horizontally. If you have a wall mount for vertical, then we can change the condensers as well if you have this request. So, water cable detectors as well here. If you add 1 and you have 3 cooling, you get 3. So it's always per cooling unit. Good. So let me select that. Your selection may create problems for other containment system equipment on floor. Please check the design, delete, and recreate. So here I always get a warning, because you see here the UPS, there is not a lot of space here. So I need to place my wall mount. Oh, didn't it? Here. So good. Then open it. Oh, here, that works. This one doesn't. Funny. So, but you see I have the same problems like everybody else. I can close it here. So, why don't I close it like this? Simply because the door we couldn't mount like this, so I need to close it and they have the gap somewhere else. I just click back. So now I have a 300 millimeter gap. You see already that I have, they say you have cooling problems. That's something which I could, of course, put the cooling a bit more closer to the units. Yeah, I don't believe that I have problems. Very often, this tool is not 100% exactly, especially when I have like a gap here. Even though the tool adds directly a blanking panel. We have today blanking panel for 300, 600, and 750 millimeter. But the tool still sees it as a gap and allows air through that. So here, please be careful. Then another problem you see here, I miss a ladder because I have between a cooling unit and my half rack. So if I put the rack like here and put my half rack here, then it's not working as well. Then I should get a ladder. It doesn't. Let me see what I can do. So now I get my ladder. It's because the cooling unit cannot mount the ladder and the half rack as well. So these two both cannot mount it. The ladder and both. So what if you get a solution like this with red? If I go on the cooling unit, it says, no, here it's green, but the airflow it says red. My team is always calculating and saying if this one here is correct, if this one, I mean out here you don't get much air in this very strange room, I have to admit. You don't get much air, but my team is always recalculating that and checking. Then you see here, you get already depth adapter. The depth adapter on a cooling unit is, on this one is in the back. If I want to change it, I can always snap it to the back of the row. So then it's changed, so I can snap it. The same for this one. Here it is just in the half rack PDPM, the depth double. It's very hard to mount in the back. It's a very strange rack here. So front works perfectly. Back is, you need to change stuff that it works. So this is a problem. Good. So far so good. Down here, I of course see all my warnings, so I could double check if it works. We see already it's red, it doesn't work. So, but this is something which we will double check by manual. As soon as I go to security environmental, I see what I have inside. If I click on the rack, I can also see it here. Rack mount PDUs 2 and 3, 2 temperature sensors. I can go in here and select. In here I have 3 options. Nothing environmental monitoring, which is the NetBots 201. Security environmental monitoring, which is including cameras or special sensors. In my case, I could do none, because these rack mount PDUs, the new ones, the new generation AP8, they have a temperature sensor port 1. If I connect this one to this and the other one to the other, I have the same view in the ISX Expert as if I would connect it through a NetBot. So if you have just this, save you the money, go and connect it directly. If I want to have more, like cameras, then of course we need to go with the 570 or the 451. Depends on the camera mount. Down here I can select the rack access if I want to have, and I can add extra cards if I want extra additional cards here. The extra cards always coming in pair in the bag of 10. Surveillance software as well, you can add here. Good. If I say OK, you see I will get the cameras. I put some cameras around. This is not entirely where you place the cameras. Please be careful that it makes sense, because it's actually getting calculated the cable length. So if I zoom a bit closer here, now I see in my racks here, I have rack access and my 2 sensors. In this rack, I have rack access, 2 sensors, and, which is not mounted here, a rack monitor, which is then my NetBots device. Yep. Management as well, selecting. First, always select the rack, so which one should be network rack. You can select here. You have 4 different options of the level of the expert: basic, standard, enterprise, or virtual. As you know, basic, standard, enterprise, and virtual, they are different in how many licenses we can run on it, how fast they run. All of that is different. Virtual, you get not the server itself, you just get the software. So there, the speed is of course depends on the server you put it on. So if you go automatically select the recommended, then it goes in. Here you can select whatever you need or your customer needs. When you have a question, you can click on here. So if I include capacity and change, I can here. So we also have now the cluster licenses in here. So cluster license, if we need that to make clusters. Good. So as soon as I select OK, I see here, this is now my management rack. And you see here, now I have the data center expert and 2 switches inside as well. Good. Service is service is always a bit, we have a lot of questions about services. First, basic is not available anymore for this solution. There are several reasons. First, we have cooling inside, removes service, more than 7 racks, then basic is not where we recommend assembly service. Then we have the PX500 where assembly is already included. So this all changes. But we have enhanced and managed. Engineered is something which is available case by case and not as a standard. It's something which is just in name because they're one country. They have made a configurator for them. So if we have engineered, we will of course have an application team on the Center of Excellence today be getting involved, and they make quotes for that as well. Then installation service. Don't push this installation planning. It's no worth. It's nothing in there. It just gives you an error. If you have installation planning, I mean, site coordination service is of course one of the small one, but you can also select manage. Then you get a bit more. Installation planning, as said, gives you just an error. So if you want, in this page, you can choose between 5x8 and 7x24. And you can have ask this one, but this is also not giving anything out. So it's also not really helping. Here on the product service, you can select how many years you want. We can select between 0 and 2. So 0 means you have 1 year included, that's the minimum. 2 is up to 3 years. If you want to have more, then we need to contact your local service department. They will make advanced plans. The same here, next business day, 4 hours response, 8-hour response. That's the options which we have. As you of course know, in some countries 4 hours response is not everywhere possible. Northern Sweden, Russia, some places, many countries have problem with 4 hours in some certain places. So this is also something which needs to be checked with the service department. Then preventive maintenance. So the first year preventive maintenance is the startup as seen as preventive maintenance. So if you want to have a preventive maintenance extra, you can click here, and then you can add extra years of preventive maintenance. You can also change how often you want to have it. When do you have it? So when is here. How often? So this power is annual normally. So you can of course have 4 times a year, or with the cooling is semi-annual, quarterly. This is also something the customer wishes. Sometimes it's local regulation. So this is something you can of course change here as well. If it's not fitting with your selection here, there's always local service can make their own offer as well. The same, check the battery for the structure of batteries. Additional remote monitoring service you can add. Then down here, hardware warranty as well. Then the software service. In the software service, we have 5 different options. So we have absolutely nothing. Price, which is minimum, value, and the premium, and of course the customized. As soon as you push customize, you get this big warning. If you do use the customize, please know what you're doing. So please, the experienced users, the one which knows a lot about the software configuration service. So if you have like basic administration, you should know how many alarm thresholds you have, all this, and add it to it. Racks for operation, if you have racks, I have change and capacity, so I also need that. Can you remember how many racks I have? It was about 10. Huh? So all this, and you can of course add all extra. So what you can do here is additional number of locations for data center operation and energy efficiency. Years of software support you can extend, and also netboards. Then include configuration service for netboards. So this one is pre-selected. You can always deselect if you want. Good. So this is our small, nice, a bit strange room solution. I can go into the rack editor. So I see here my rows of rack. In the rack, I can see what I have inside. I can also add in physical infrastructure if I have servers already. So let's go for today we are HP, huh? So let's go for HP. So I can go and put a blade here. Blades, a bit bigger. And on a certain point, if I'm overloading this rack, I will get a warning. So you see here, I added for 23 kilowatt plates, but I just designed it for 7. Also, when I go back to the floor, I will have an error here because of that. So this helps you as well that you can export this to the data center expert. So and upload into, so you don't need to put all the stuff in again. So once is enough. So what? Otherwise, you see what you have. So if you go for the floor layout, so if I just go back a bit into the room, and I have power. Where is it? Power density. You see here, I have not much right now. 120 watt. If I see here, so I see here what is planned, how much tolerance that I have, and can show it to the customer. What else can we do in the physical infrastructure, or in the rack editor? Is of course we can also add stuff, especially rack cabling solutions or rack accessories. So I can add inline couplers, patch cables, Cat5 cables, extra stuff. But you can also add it in additional parts later on, which I would recommend to do, because adding here is very easy, but removing is very difficult. It's a pain. So then what we also can see, of course, is the 3D view. The 3D view has been worked on. You will see that, you see it already, that it is not perfectly yet. So you see, as soon as I have a gap in here, the equal is not working. So they're still working on that. Otherwise, you'll see it works quite well. You see the difference. Depth adapter as well, not integrated. Height adapter I don't have here. But the rest, you can always make pictures here. Just click, say picture 1. That's it. You can see it. Good. So that's what I wanted to show. In here, you can move around. You can put it on advanced, everything. So that's what I wanted to show in the ISX Designer. So let's save it and go to the design portal. Good. Not good. Something is wrong. Something that I didn't want to save. Yeah. As said, always make a backup. Save. Okay, good. So what I want to show as well is, of course, the Galaxy. So I just make a new room. So good. For the Galaxy, we don't need to enter all the stuff. We just can push finish. Then continue. So the Galaxies are in here. As said here, the Galaxies, we have 4 different type of Galaxy: 3.5, 5.5, 7,000, and the VM. The SUVT is not included here. The Galaxy 300 is not included here. So that we miss. So if you make a solution, 100 kVA, you will see right away you get a recommendation. If you put 160, it's actually a fault here. I mean, the Galaxy VM is very often cheaper, as you might know, because of the higher efficiency. You get a better solution with the Galaxy VM than with the 7000, because you need less batteries. But this is not taking into account here. So it's by numbers before letters. That's why it's 7000 before VM. So that's why in the Galaxy 7000, no, I don't want to make 160. Let's make a 250. There we have no options for 7 VM. So Galaxy 7250. I can choose, of course, my power factor. I can choose if I want to have a max future capacity, so if above a 500. So this, of course, changes the capability down here. So I can have external static switch with this bypass outside. If I go very crazy already up here, I can make like a 1000, you see. Then I can make this one, and I have different options down here as well. Okay, but let's do that. So here I have the voltage, so the three different 380, 400, 415. I can do a frequency converter. As soon as I select this, I will not get, because parallel system doesn't work. But if I have a single one, so if I remove it, then it works. So I can have a frequency converter. What else? A 3-to-1 option is as well available, but 3-to-1 is just possible with the Galaxy 3.5. So if I choose it, this falls out with this load. So this is falling out. Echo mode, yes or no. Don't select it, we have in everything echo mode. So, good. Redundancy as well, I can choose, of course. So let's do 1000 with one redundancy. Then, as you know, here on the Galaxy 7000, we don't have standard battery cabinets, so that's not a possibility. If I use standard here, I will get the Galaxy 7000 without any batteries. If I go to custom, I have this very nice view saying here 30 minutes, and I can choose all the batteries. We have UASA and Excite as standard batteries, which are possible in racks and cabinets. That's something new. Pre-selected is always cabinet, so if I click here, it's cabinet. I can go into advanced and change it to rack. Now also for UASA. So this is something new. Then I can, of course, I mean the pre-selection is quite nice already. I will see the vendor rack, what is recommended, so what rack do I get. I can select box or nothing. I can say, hey, I want to have a box for each UPS 7 box. If I have like 3 strings, I can add more. The one which I have is the one bigger than 15, because I selected 30 minutes. Yeah, here racks, PCB in the same room. Yeah, so this is my configuration. Then as said before, down here I can select the static switch, if internal or external. So if I make it external, I can select it as light or not light. If I go into advanced, I can also select what kind of solution do I have here. Do I need a galvanic isolation? Yes or no? Here, because of Galaxy 7000, we don't have standard transformers. I will show you just afterwards on the 5.5. This is not something, backfield protection we can add, which is Galaxy VM has already. Bottom or top connection, here I will get top. IP32 I can select here. Then of course the language. Synchro board, synchro box. The rest is auxiliary. So if I select yes, I will get all my solution here. Then I can put the batteries next to the BCB box. Where is it? Here. And then the UPS is here. So if I select a Galaxy 5.5, so let's go a bit lower with the load. 5.5. Okay. Here I have the possibility of standard cabinets. So here I can see the full load or different loads which I have. I still have the custom configuration, exactly the same as before. So let's go with the standard just to make it faster. Then I can as well go in advanced, and in here when I select now the galvanic isolation, I get transformers. So if I make like a single input, I get it on the transformers here, just one. So I can select here different options as well So I can get transformers in. This is a very nice and small solution. Again, what we need to do is, of course, service. In the Galaxy configurator, service is a bit of a, yeah, it's not really right, but here I can select basic. You get exactly, right now still, you get exactly the same service. You get always just startup, whatever you select. So this is an error which we have. Whatever you select, you get always startup only, which can be upgraded to 7x24, which can be then also have, where is it? Hardware warranty here. Have extra hardware warranty. Software service, we don't have software. Yeah, so let's save that one as well. Then let's go back, see if it works. Save successfully, so we go back to the portal. Yeah, so super. So in here, I'm back on the design portal. So this is web browser, so I need connection. I see here now the Galaxy configuration. I see here what we did. I see here why my team has to look. If you don't have any yellow here, it will get auto-approved. I see the system, so it's configured system. I can look into here with all the reports, so like CTO reports. I can change the settings here. Training solution, if I want. I can see in the history who made what. So if it copied from somewhere, this will show up here. I can add notifications. So if I have somebody who needs to be notified, I can add it here. So I can add user. So that the status, so add user. So this solution is then also notified. Good. Then I can add share a solution. So I can share so that he sees it in my solution as well, so that they both can work on it. I can copy, of course, a solution, make a new one. Here I have all the views, so my solution is where we started. All solutions is all Schneider, can see that. Shared solution is the one which we just showed, shared. Solutions here, I can make a special filter. So I see something, archives the old ones, TSS is just my team. Then reports, as said, we have different reports. And advanced report, we have here different options. So scope, solution, software, scope of work is here. I have different drawings, proposal, which you can download, and the documents with the links. So, but first I would like to see the CTO report. So in the CTO report, you will see all the products here. And as you know, in the Galaxy products, we have an ATO structure. That's also why it starts with ATO. We have an ATO structure with 3 levels. So the first 2 levels are pure description. So Galaxy 250, here 250, 300. First here, it is then the product itself. But you will not be able to order this alone if you don't have these descriptions as well with it, because our Oracle would not be able to recognize. So you always need 1, 2, 3 levels, all 3 levels. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Then we start with the new UPS 1, 2, 3. In the CTO report, you see it very nicely because it's moved in the levels. So otherwise, if you don't have that, that's making a confusion, and order management is not able to see. Then we have the same. We have also an ATO structure for the batteries. Why do we have done that? LOB has been in contact with Excite and Yuasa and see how do you want to have it. So this code here for about the battery, this is going to be shared. Now I have to see that it's just one, yeah, like this. It's going to be shared with Yuasa in this case. So here it shows Yuasa, then automatically it goes to Yuasa. Yuasa knows it is a Galaxy 7000. UASA knows that we have 132 blocks. UASA knows that we have 3 strings. We have 250 kVA. We have 30 minutes runtime. We have a power factor of 0.8. UASA also knows the rack which is on it, and UASA will ship the interconnection cables to this solution, including with the batteries and the rack. So that's why they need this information to calculate it and to make it easy for order management and for the whole process automated. This is why it got quite a long ATO model. You see here with this small, I mean, what did we do? 3 UPSs. You get a very long solution. Down here we see as well the services. So we have the startups and the upgrades to 7 by 24. Down here we have again, this is more an information for you and the customer, that the 2 UPS, so the Galaxy 7250, 2 UPSs, international English is selected, runtime is 30 minutes, you get 31 minutes, this is the batteries which are coming, this is this. Assembly of the batteries is not included, so if you want that, local service department you should contact, and this is the rack. So the same for the Galaxy 5.5. There is a bit easier because we have, of course, everything built in this cabinet already. Yep. What else is, we have also detailed quote report. In the detailed quote report, you can also show now the weight. With the weight, be careful with the weight, because you see it already here. It is an ATO model, and somehow they don't understand that in this tool. So if you have a Galaxy, is mostly wrong, the weight, so don't take it as granted, because this line, as just said, is a pure documentation line and has, of course, no weight. So this is not possible, and you will see it already here. That's the size and that's the weight. So this is not correct. So that's something to remember. It's always quite tricky. And in the advanced report, we have a proposal. The proposal is something which is made by the software team. It takes a while, but you can actually go back and work again and look at other report while it works. So you can look at the reports, and then suddenly it comes the proposal. Not yet. Good. Let's see if we get it. The proposal, as said, is a working. We have quite a nice proposal in the data center. Is not for all the language the same grade. They still continue working on the proposal. So I don't know. Some country use it, some country you don't use it at all. I have seen good ones. I've seen terrible ones. So yeah, I mean, it's, yeah. If you have suggestion, of course, give feedback to the software team, because they're just as good. They're pure software guys, so that's why. Please give them feedback as well. So here, I think it got much better than it was, this proposal. Yeah, you see here, it's quite a heavy one with how many? 52 pages. I will not scroll through all. So this is the proposal which you can do as well, and as said, downloading. Yep. So this is basically what I wanted to show you. The last one which I wanted to show you is the different statuses which we have. So the design portal has open, submit, received, approved, ordered, returned, and expired. I made colors. So sales, you guys are responsible for all the yellows and can change it there where I made in the error sales. So if you make a solution, it's automatically open. You can submit it. If you submit it, don't write urgent, because it might get out of proof if you don't write. Otherwise, please comment as much as possible. Comment. don't send without comments. If it's a strange solution, please comment it. Otherwise, my team will ask you. Then my team will pick it up, submit to receive. You will receive an email saying who it is, so you can contact the person directly. My team will be able to approve or to return. We approve, of course, hopefully, if everything is okay. If we will return if the solution is either agreed that we return together with sales, or it is so ridiculous or unfinished, then we will return as well. If it's approved, as you know, you can offer it, everything, and order management can change the status to ordered. If it's not ordered, a solution will expire in 90 days, or if a custom part expires before. In expired status, it stays for about a year, 1.5, until the hard disk is used, the server's space is used, then it falls out. And we also archive once in a while, or we, software team, archives. If it's expired, you can always resubmit. If you resubmit, there is a new system, then the tool will look, has to be done any change between the approval and the resubmittal. If not, it will check, is all the products still available? Do we have all the prices? Is a expired custom part? And if not, it will get out approved right away. So don't write to us, please approve an expired solution. Try it yourself, it might get out approved. Yep, so this is what I wanted to show you. Sinead, can we open for questions?
Yeah, I'll unmute the lines now. Thanks, Christoph.
Thanks.
The conference is now in talk mode.
Yeah, so everybody's line is now open.
Yeah, everybody, is there any questions to my presentation? Anything to add?
Yep.
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, hello. Thank you for presentation. I have a question regarding Galaxy selection.
Yep.
When I select Galaxy 55 or 7000, whatever, and use the custom battery configuration, I don't really see the same options as you do for batteries, because I see like a yellow triangle with a red dot inside the.
You see that?
Triangle. Yeah, this one. And so how do you go from this view to the
Could you please, Mikkel? I can actually see Mikkel. Mikkel is your name, huh?
No, Martin's.
Can you send me? So please send me an email, or I will be able to give you that. So what? Christoph Brandle at Schneider. So everybody in the call which don't see this option for these custom batteries, please send me an email. I'll be able to give you the access. If I gave you the access, it takes 1 to 2 days to replicate all the servers.
Okay, yep. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Somebody else? Anything else?
Не очень часто хвалят. Ну, один лишний раз там скажет.
Okay. Doesn't seem to be the case. Okay. So please, if you have questions, contact. We're here to help you. Okay. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.